Hello, I'm Michael Rhee. I'm an anesthesiologist and critical care physician from the University of Kentucky, and I'm here to introduce Margaret Dempsey Clapp, who for the last 30 years was the chief pharmacist at Mass General Hospital before she retired there in January of 2013. As there is nobody in the Society of Critical Care Medicine who has not experienced an unexplained drug shortage that occurs from industry without notice, we thought that it would be critical to have a speaker that could examine what the economic causes of manufacturing failure in the United States might be and in the first world, and how we might have gotten here historically, and how we might be able to get ourselves back to a normal situation of adequate amounts of drugs for the care of patients. And so I'd like to introduce Margaret Dempsey Clapp.
Well, thank you, Mike. I'm delighted to be here. And I think it is important for this information to be shared not only with this society, but with all of the healthcare providers so that they begin to understand why we have these drug shortages and so that we can work together to move forward and maybe get some changes in the marketplace. And what we've seen over the past maybe 10 years, a little bit less than that, is ever increasing drug shortages. I think the reason for those, there are many. I kind of put them into three reasons. Maybe the first is the consolidation of the market. There are fewer manufacturers, there are fewer distributors. The second might be the cost. You know, in healthcare, it's all about the money and driving down the cost. And so we have really pushed the market to decrease their prices, and have we done so at a peril to us? And then the third issue would be perhaps the contracting. Maybe we have caused some of this ourselves because within the institutions we all contract through GPOs, and have we created...
What is a GPO?
A GPO, I'm sorry. A GPO is a group purchasing organization, and they are organizations that are kind of like a co-op, a cooperative, but that they gather and they have assembled themselves kind of in the middle of our supply chain, and they contract with the manufacturers, they contract with the distributors, and contract with the hospital. So they're kind of the middle of this troika of people trying to take care of patients, the supply chain market. And so they are an integral part of the supply chain now, and I believe maybe part of the cause that we have so many drug shortages.
And will you be going into some detail about those 3 points that you just made?
No, I'm going to talk about something totally different. Of course I'm going to be talking about that. What I'd like to do is kind of walk through my experience. You know, I had been at Mass General for over 30 years and have seen the market change a tremendous amount, but I've been on the leadership side or the management side, so I was part of drug procurement, you know, making sure that drugs are available and whatnot, so I've seen a tremendous change, and I think that people need to understand that so they can understand why we are where we are now in this critical situation where we can't get the drugs that we need for our patients.
Do you think that hospitals and providers are doing an adequate job of dealing with errors that occurred because of constant drug changes?
Oh my, that is a $64,000 question. You know, tomorrow when we do hear this talk, we're going to look at some of the things that have happened in institutions because of the drug shortages. And although we try so hard to have these tightly integrated technology systems with, you know, provider order entry and smart pumps and whatnot, every time we change a drug or a concentration of a drug, all of that has to be changed too. So I'm not sure we really understand the impact of drug shortages on what's happened to our patients in the healthcare delivery system.
And do you think the concentration of the industrial supply chain has decreased the overall cost of drugs, either to us or to society, or do you have no opinion about that?
Well, if you're talking about the GPOs and the contracting and all of that, Mike, they claim to have decreased that. The government bought into the idea, and it makes sense that if you have a concentration of one group consolidating all of this would be able to drive best prices, then you would think that there would be a decrease in what it costs in healthcare. But you'll have to come to my talk tomorrow to hear if that's true or not.
And hopefully we'll hear how we might actually get the evidence to answer those questions.
Right, we hope so.
Thank you very much.